What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Off the Top Rope, Off the Mic Sports Network. So NXT Homecoming happens on Tuesday night, and this was a heck of a show. A lot of nostalgia in the building. It was cool to see the old Full Sail building. You know, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. You had former NXT OGs getting their old entrances back. It was neat to see a lot of people that you hadn't seen before or you hadn't seen in the past. Like Finn Balor comes out to his old entrance, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa come out to their old entrance. It was a very neat night in the world of NXT. A lot of things happened on this show. The women main evented. Obviously, the unfortunate Tiffany Stratton got a little nicked up in her title defense on SmackDown against Jade Cargill. And she couldn't compete as part of that 6-woman tag with Fatal Influence, but Rhea Ripley teamed with Lyra Valkyria and Stephanie Vicaire in the main event. And yeah, there was a lot of interesting stuff on this show. Charlotte and Alexa defended their titles against the Culling. You had Trick and Mello taking on DIY. Ethan Page defending his North American title against one of the great OGs, and unfortunate that he didn't get a great reaction in Tyler Breeze. Bianca Belair was there. Bobby Roode was there. There was a lot of cool things that were happening. I mean, Sami Zayn gave a pep talk to Javon Evans. There was a lot of good stuff that happened on this show. But the big topic point, and this feeds into what I said last week when we were leading into this homecoming show, is just NXT is far and away the best WWE show. And it's maybe the best show in professional wrestling because no matter if it's good or bad content, it's fun. It's very fun. But throughout the night on this show, and there was a big plot point that was revealed leading into next week's show, and then obviously leading into the premium live event No Mercy on September the 27th, a week from Saturday. So Trick Williams and Oba Femi are going to have a title for title match. Remember, Trick Williams is the TNA World Champion. And, throughout the night, apparently it was revealed, and if you looked at social media during the show, TNA wrestlers and TNA commentators and TNA people alike were not happy to A, not be included as a part of NXT Homecoming, and B, the fact that their world championship is being tossed around and being defended in a match, title for title, between two WWE NXT contracted stars in Oba Femi and Trick Williams, which is a big money match for them. And these two guys have beaten the crap out of each other for, a while now. But it's setting the stage for something that we talked about back in July when Mike Santana did not win the TNA World title at Slammiversary, which a lot of people, including myself, were upset about. We said it had to lead to something. And here we are 2 months later. And I think we are on the doorstep of what the payoff is going to be, leading into their Bound for Glory show next month in October. I think we're heading towards a TNA invasion of NXT. And that's going to be good television. Because I got to tell you guys right now, watching Raw, watching SmackDown, hell, watching AEW has been a bore. It has really just not hit. And, whether it's good, bad, and none of it feels exciting. The one thing on main roster television that I am genuinely interested in is CM Punk, AJ Lee, Seth Rollins, and Becky Lynch. And even that feels kind of dull at this point. It was cool to see AJ Lee take her first bump on Monday night, but at this point, it's a standard couple versus couple match. It really doesn't hit. But an invasion of TNA into NXT means a couple things. Number one, you're going to finally get the payoff of what these titles, being taken away by WWE. And it's going to make TNA look like a better company. And then in that respect, I think this is going to lead to whatever the hell the media deal is for TNA, which is going to be a big thing for them as well, because that's going to put them on a bigger stage, which, is going to open up the door for hey, can TNA potentially compete with AEW, considering AEW's ratings have been around 500,000 for really the last couple of months. So I'm really interested to see where this whole thing goes. I thought they might do an angle to close out the show, but they didn't. And I think what that tells me is that this match, which I'm presuming is going to main event next week's show, leading into their big show. I don't think there's going to be a finish because, for one, I don't think that you could afford to have Trick or Oba lose to make one of them a double champion. So I think there's going to be a non-finish. There's going to be a bunch of interference. There's going to be a bunch of commotion and a bunch of rigmarole, like, nonsense, commotion. What is it? Kerfuffle. Like, I could use a bunch of different adjectives to describe just a commotion. There's going to be some shit that's going to go down next week. And to me, that's exciting, which a lot of main television in any form of professional wrestling this year has just been dull. Like, AEW sucks. Main roster WWE sucks. NXT, even as a developmental brand, I said this last week, even as a developmental brand, a lot of what they're doing is hitting. And, hey, Obafemi looks like a stud, man. Trick Williams has really molded himself into something. And you know what they did? They dipped into the nostalgia pool, and it worked. I think this was a great show. And, now you have a compelling hook and a compelling angle leading into next week where you can look around and you can be like, man, who's going to show up from TNA? What's going to happen? How are they going to do it? How is this going to play out? Santino Marella, like, how are they going to do this? Is this going to weave onto TNA television? Is this going to ultimately lead into a media rights deal for TNA? There's a lot of questions. And we haven't had a lot of that, unpredictability on the main roster of really any show. Everything's been pretty formulaic and pretty safe. Like, the one really big moment that we've seen really since SummerSlam, like, I mean, the Brock Lesnar thing you can debate, but the one thing really compelling that we've seen since SummerSlam that's really been genuinely interesting is AJ Lee's back on television after 10 years away. But even then, we're 2 weeks into this thing, and I already am kind of, I'm kind of out on it. Like, it just doesn't feel like, it feels like everything that I feared it would be, where it's just a standard couples match. Like, am I excited to see AJ Lee compete at WrestlePalooza? Sure. I think CM Punk is my guy. I love Seth Rollins. I love Becky Lynch, but it's like, you can only do so much. And also, only having 2 weeks to build to this show, it's with NXT, man, like, it's just like, even with the restricted men's division that they have, there's still some excitement there. There's still some interest. And now you've got the element of this TNA thing coming together. That genuinely interests me. And that's something that you're not going to see on any of the other shows. And like I said, that's WWE, AEW. NXT, even though it's a developmental show, has some juice behind it. Whether you think it's good or bad, doesn't matter. At least they're trying. At least they're trying to create some interest and create some buzz. And I'm really curious to see what they do with this invasion, because I'm fully expecting this to happen next Tuesday. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.